I may, there seems to be a little confusion with DNI Gabbard was down in Atlanta last week for the Fulton County search. Originally, this office said that she was not part of the investigation. She put in a letter to Congress that President Trump directed her to do so. And then now President Trump yesterday said that it was at your insistence that she went down there. So what is the case here?
All right, folks, buckle up. And before we get into this, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button so this video actually gets pushed out past the media bubble. Subscribe to the channel if you're tired of half answers, spin, and selective outrage. And turn on notifications so you don't miss what they don't want you to hear.
At all times, pretty much, to keep not only our country safe, but our world safe. And she was down there with Deputy Director Andrew Bailey of the FBI. And I'm not going to talk about any other details of that matter right now because Georgia's a very important issue to us. She was there. We're inseparable. That's all I'll say.
That the DNI, the Tulsi Gabbard's presence in Atlanta during a law enforcement search, are you concerned at all that that could taint whatever the FBI is doing and whatever findings come from that investigation?
Absolutely not. And Andrew Bailey was taking the lead down there. He's Director Patel's deputy director of the FBI.
Now what you just watched is a perfect example of how Washington closes ranks when things get uncomfortable. A reporter asked Pam Bondi a very simple, very fair question. Was Tulsi Gabbard sent to Georgia as part of this investigation or not? And more importantly, who ordered it? Because here's the issue. First, we were told Tulsi Gabbard was involved. Then Gabbard tells Congress President Trump directed her. Then President Trump says she went down there at Pam Bondi's insistence. That's not spin. That's three different explanations for the same trip. And what do we get in response? We're inseparable. That's the answer. Look, I respect Pam Bondi. I respect Tulsi Gabbard. But as a right-wing patriot who believes in transparency, law and order, and clean investigations, that answer doesn't cut it. This wasn't a photo op. This wasn't a cabinet hangout. This was a law enforcement search tied to Georgia elections, one of the most sensitive political issues in America. When the director of national intelligence shows up at an active FBI operation, people are allowed to ask questions. Full stop. Bondi says the FBI was in charge, and there's no concern about tainting the investigation. Fine, but then say it clearly. Don't deflect. Don't laugh it off. Because if this were Biden's DOJ, if this were Obama-era intelligence officials, the media would be screaming about interference. Conservatives don't defend people blindly. We defend principles. And one of those principles is simple. If you did nothing wrong, you don't dodge the question. Sunlight matters. Accountability matters. And Georgia matters. If you agree, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who still believes in equal justice under the law.